Jon Jones has never lost. He's never lost a fight. This fucking guy destroyed the best heavyweight in the division. Easily made it look like nothing. Jon Jones is the pound for pound best fighter in the world and the greatest fighter fucking ever. Period. End of story.
Hey, what's up? It is Lucky Punch Sports, and today we're covering UFC 309, going over my betting picks and my predictions. And sorry if I sound a little sick, I am, but still gotta grind through and get through the video. Let's go. And for the first fight on the main card, we have Mauricio One-Shot Ruffy versus James Goku Llontop. And if you haven't seen Mauricio Ruffy fight yet, the time to start is now. You're not too late. He's only 1-0 in the UFC, but Ruffy is a smooth striker who possesses the finesse, distance, and timing reminiscent of a karate stance McGregor. And I don't take these comparisons lightly, but Ruffy is very smooth and confident in the octagon. He's never gone to the scorecards and has 2 knockout finishes in the UFC and DWCS. He's an explosive striker who utilizes every part of his body in his attacks. He also has acrobatic sweeps that are capoeira-esque that he even uses for his takedowns. Every professional fight he's ever been in has ended in a knockout, and I expect another one in this fight. Llontop is a Peruvian DWCS veteran who has gotten on a bad 0-2 start after being considered a fairly bright prospect. He is a risky and aggressive striker who takes his chances, not the best matchup for such a calculated striker like Ruffy. Honestly, not sure why Llontop would take this fight without a UFC win to his name yet, but it earns him a main card fight nonetheless. Ruffy is much more skilled than Llontop, so he would need a blitz knockout to find a win against the fighting nerd, who I'm taking here in a KO win. And now for a women's flyweight bout between the number 9 ranked Vivian Vivi Araujo versus Karine Killer Silva. And Karine the Killer Silva is looking to extend her 4-fight win streak where she's finished the first 3 by way of submission. She is a submission threat from all angles, taking on a vet in Araujo who's never been submitted through 11 UFC fights. Araujo tends to fight for decisions and goes 50-50 when it comes down to scorecards. This is a good fight for a ranked Silva to move even further up the rankings, as I would expect a grappling dominated match that Silva can take control of and take the win by decision. I don't think she'll find one, but I think she'll dominate on the ground. And now a middleweight bout I'm personally very excited for, between Bo the Pistol Nickal and Paul Barry-Jew Craig. This is one of my most anticipated fights on the card, a huge step up in competition for Bo Nickal against a now unranked Paul Craig, who's beaten a lot of high-level talent in the UFC. Nickal is known for his wrestling background, and Craig is a submission expert. And Nickal's shown off his striking against low-level fighters, and Craig doesn't have much to offer on the feet, mostly being very flat and slow. Expect huge improvements in striking from Nickal, who's getting more experience in the sport from his collegiate wrestling background. It will be a true test of his collegiate wrestling against Craig's grappling, and Craig at plus 650 is a great line for someone so prone to pulling victories out of defeat like he did against Ankalaev. And I can definitely see a triangle choke tricking Nickal in the 3rd round. That being said, I'm taking Nickal by a very hard-fought split decision where his wrestling evades any submission attempts by Craig, but he's slightly faster and way more explosive on the feet where he does most of his damage.
O campeão tem nome, se chama Charles do Bronx. Pode bater, bate, filha, homem que aguenta, rapaz. Nós é iluminado, rapaz. Tá faltando alguma coisa aqui, cadê meu cinturão?
And now a banger of a lightweight bout between the number 2 ranked Charles do Bronx Oliveira versus Michael Iron Chandler, the 7th ranked lightweight, as the underdog. But this is a rematch of their legendary brawl at 262, where both men knocked each other down, and Oliveira finished the fight by knocking out Chandler in the 2nd round. Chandler has quite literally been in a 2-year-long training camp after being left hanging by McGregor and the UFC. He's in incredible shape and should be extremely explosive, looking to drop Oliveira again, where many refs would have stopped the first fight after his initial knockdown. The problem with Chandler has never been his cardio or fitness or his physique, but he seems to throw game plans out the window and fights all out 100% of the time. As exciting as it is to watch, it leads to a mediocre 2-3 UFC record. He's been mentioning his plans to win the belt in 2025, and I do truly believe he's motivated and possibly skilled enough to really believe that. That's gifted him a record 16 gets dropped in just about every fight he's in, and I expect Chandler to be capable enough to finish him off the first time he drops him, so I'm taking Chandler by KO as the underdog.
Every ounce of training you put in leading up to this fight will be a waste of your life.
I will die to beat you. Know that.
All right. Be prepared to do that.
You know I would absolutely kill you if you ever did something like that, right?
And now for the main event, for the heavyweight belt, we have Jon Bones Jones, the champ, being challenged by the number 8 ranked contender, Stipe Stone Cold Miocic. And this is a heavyweight matchup that would have been a groundbreaking fight a few years ago, but this is still a great fight, with Jones looking to defend his heavyweight belt he acquired last year when he embarrassed Cyril Gane at 285. Whether he retires after this fight or not, we will still be seeing a heavyweight Jones eager to defend that belt and his legacy. Jones is too scared to lose, and the 42-year-old Stipe, who hasn't fought in 3 years, will look to be the first to do it. Don't expect Jones to go out swinging in round 1, hunting for a quick finish. He could attempt a grappling dominant game plan like he did with Gane after this camp with Gordon Ryan. There's a huge chance this fight goes to points, as an older Stipe will be hunting for a knockdown win, likely tiring himself out, and Jones will want to stall in winning positions on the ground, winning the fight in the eyes of the judges, and fighting backwards with his dirty boxing to keep Stipe at range. Jones was virtually unscathed against Gane at heavyweight, and I expect he'll want to do the same here, hence why he brought in Gable Stevenson and focused on a ground game training camp. Frankly, Stipe should have stayed retired, and this should have been a unifying match with Tom Aspinall, or a division unifying match against Alex Pereira, but it's not. So I'm at least excited to watch two respective legends in their weight classes go at it for the first time, just a few years too late. And remember, outside of the Gane fight, Jones hasn't finished a fight since Gustafsson in 2018, 6 years ago. I hope Aspinall's in the crowd and loud enough to trigger Jones's ego enough to stop his eventual retirement, but I do expect Jones to go out with a safe win and send both of them into retirement. And before I get on to my official picks, for keeping track of my credibility, my lock of the night, something I guarantee to hit, or if you need an extra leg on a parlay just to get those odds a little better, I'm 13-2, and my main card picks are 48-32, but always looking to get better. And now running through my official picks, starting with the first fight on the main card, is Mauricio Ruffy versus Llontop, a middleweight bout. I'm taking Ruffy by KO in round 2. I just think Ruffy is way too skilled, way too calculated. Llontop is going to be desperate for a win, and he won't find it here, getting KO'd. And for Bo Nickal versus Paul Craig, a middleweight bout, I love Paul Craig at minus 650. Bo Nickal at over minus 1,000 is kind of absurd to me right now. I think he still is not very well tested, but I do think Bo Nickal will get the win by a decision. I think it will just be a dogfight. It will be harder than he thinks it is, but he'll find success on the feet to take a decision win. And for a flyweight bout of Araujo versus Karin Silva, I'm taking Silva in a decision win. I think her grappling will subdue Araujo for most of the fight. She won't be able to find a submission. She'll get a ton of attempts, but she'll take a very decisive decision win. And for the co-main of Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler, the lightweight bout, I'm taking the underdog, Michael Chandler. He looks to be in great shape, and I think both of them will probably get knocked down in this fight, just like their last fight, but I think he's going to be strong enough and capable enough to finish Oliveira the first time he knocks him down in round 2. And for the main event, the heavyweight title fight, Stipe versus John Bones Jones, I'm taking John Jones by decision. I don't think he'll find a finish. He hasn't got one in a while. The Cyril Gane fight was a little embarrassing at heavyweight for Gane, but I think Jones is going to be able to find winning positions, use a ground-dominant game plan, back up from Stipe, keep him at range, and get a very decisive heavyweight win that might send both of them into retirement. And as well as my main card picks, looking over the whole card, there's a ton of fun fights. We have Jim Miller back on the card. We have Oban Elliott on the early prelims. And Martinez versus McGee will be a banger bantamweight matchup, as well as Chris Weidman versus Eric Anders. So there's a ton of fun fights you won't want to miss this weekend at MSG.
Every dog has his day. Amel.
And for my lock of the night, I'm taking Mauricio Ruffy of the Fighting Nerds at -750. Originally, I found him closer to -500, and the Ruffy hype has blown up in recent weeks, probably with the Carlos Prade's success last fight night, but he's better in just about every category, and I can't imagine the Fighting Nerd hype will die down here to an 0-2 fighter desperate for a win.
Maybe you can handle yourself one of them first-class tickets to the resurrection.
And for my punchline of the night, the same message Tony Montana received: the world is yours. Montana went down due to his own hubris, and Jones is one in the same. It is up to him completely. Don't test positive. Be ready for the fight. Call out Aspinall. Retire. Either way, the world is his. As it stands, he is the GOAT to many fans, and this is his chance to cement his legacy and go out on top. It's up to him.
Say hello to my little friend!
And for the Punch Bowl, I'm going with Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler. It might be the obvious choice, but the first time around was filled with explosive action and multiple knockdowns on both sides. Michael Chandler is ready to unleash what he's been crafting the last 2 years, spent in purgatory waiting for a fight. I'm a huge fan of Chandler's fights, and they're always insanely fun and dumb, but I can't wait to see this fight and which man will get knocked out or submitted first. So that concludes my video for my betting picks and predictions for UFC 309. Let me know if you enjoyed the video. Comment down below anything you thought about my picks or the video. I love talking with you guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe to support the channel and see more. And see you next time.